One of the new aspects of Iceborne that I absolutely loved were set bonus skills that essentially added additional levels to existing skills in the game. Now this build, it utilizes that to great effect while incorporating one of my new favorite skills. I am calling it the Guardian Tool Specialist. It's a flexible SNS build that uses the Lunastra Essence set bonus, Tool Specialist Secret, which increases the Tool Specialist skill to level 5 rather than 3. It also incorporates the new skill Offensive Guard. This is a build I use to lay the pressure on a monster during a hunt while also giving me the flexibility to use my specialized tools more frequently. Once again, and I will also keep reiterating this, these builds are fun and interesting ways to play the game. I get that there's a meta, and maybe this build might not be for you, and it's probably not a speedrunner build. But instead, I like to have fun with my builds and utilize some of the skills in the game. So, let's add a little bit of spice to your arsenal, and let's get going with how we built the Guardian Tool Specialist. Alright, let's get into the equipment that we're going to be slotting in here, and this time I promise I'm not going to forget to talk about the charm. Our weapon is going to be the Manifested Lotus Sword and Shield. It's the SNS from the game's final boss monster. The head, arms, and waist are all going to come from Lunastra, with the head being the Empress Crown Alpha Plus, and the arms and waist being the Beta Plus. The chest is going to be the Beta Plus from the Seizing Basil. The legs are going to be the Jan Garuga Greaves, Beta Plus. And for the charm, we're going to be running the Handicraft Charm 3. Unfortunately, this wasn't fully upgraded by this point, so it's a little bit limited when it comes to that. As for the decoration slots, here's what I popped in. I put a Medicine and Expert Jewel into the weapon. On the head, I went ahead and put a Handicraft Jewel. On the chest, we're adding a Handicraft Guardian, level 4 Jewel, and an Expert Jewel, along with a Maintenance Jewel. We're going to put the level 4 Expert Jewel and a Vitality Jewel into the arms. On the waist, we're slotting in an Iron Wall Expert level 4 Jewel and a Tenderizer Jewel. And with the legs, we get 2 Tenderizer Jewels and an Elementalist Jewel. And once again, if you're lucky enough to have a level 4 Tenderizer Jewel, just go ahead and slot that in for one of the single Tenderizer Jewels here. So, going by this, these are the skills we're going to be getting. We have Critical Eye at 7, Handicraft 5, Tool Specialist at 5 thanks to the Lunastra set bonus, Health Boost at 3, Weakness Exploit at 3, Guard at 3, Offensive Guard at 3, Recovery up 1, Non-Elemental Boost, and Blast Attack 1 is a throwaway skill. The Guardian Tool Specialist benefits from constant use of our specialized tools. Thanks to the Lunastra set bonus, we can get our Tool Specialist skill up to level 5. This allows you to decrease the cooldown timer of specialized tools by 50%. What this means in-game is that your health booster, which normally has a 150-second cooldown timer, is reduced to 75 seconds. And some of the mantles that have longer cooldowns, like the Impact Mantle, Temporal Mantle, and Rocksteady Mantle, can be used way more frequently than before. This makes a big difference, especially when you get backed into a corner during a hunt. Also, as for my new favorite skill, Offensive Guard, this is a skill that requires precise timing and a little bit of practice to pull off. Basically, you have to block at the absolute last second to activate it, and when you do activate it, you're given 15% increase in your attack power for a short period of time. This allows you to bump up your DPS, get off more damage, and of course hit the monster a little bit harder. This skill works in conjunction with the 3 points in guard we get here as well. This greatly reduces the impact of attacks on you, allowing you to shorten the knockback you get when blocking, and gives you more time to use the offensive guard while it's active. Of course, we're going to want to maximize our damage output, so that's why we have 7 points in Critical Eye and 3 points in Weakness Exploit. This ensures so we get a 70% affinity on weak spots, with 90% affinity on the softened weak spots. It's pretty close to 100%, and honestly as close as we're going to get without using an affinity augment in the weapon, which you can do if you want, but I opted for health regen instead. The non-elemental boost is crucial here, since the last boss's weapons are so graciously given with a hidden element, and of course this maximizes how much damage they output. And with Handicraft up to max, you get that beautiful purple sharpness, which prevents bouncing off of the hard spots of a monster, but also increases the damage output. here's some of my recommended adjustments, and honestly, there's not going to be a lot here. If you're not interested in running purple sharpness, you can swap out the handicraft charm for whichever charm you want. Just kind of tailor it to your playstyle. If you want to swap out the Manifested Lotus for a different sword and shield, feel free to do that as well, but I do suggest going for either the Barb Ruin or Styx. These are the Master Rank Lunatra sword and shields. Or if you want to go for the Gold Rathian sword and shield, that can give you a little bit of extra damage output from the poison. If you're able to upgrade the Handicraft charm to level 4, I suggest dropping the Handicraft jewel in the head and pop in a Brace jewel or whatever jewel you want to throw in there that's level 2 or higher. And honestly, everything else as far as the decorations go, it's kind of straightforward. It's not super flexible as far as adjustments on this build, and honestly I feel like the one that I put together up there is the most optimized version of this build. But hey, I'm all about experimentation, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. So with that, guys, we've got another episode in the books. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you like my stuff, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video if you liked it, and of course, sound off in the comments if you'd like to share your thoughts as well. I hope you found this build to be useful, and I'd love to hear back from you guys, and especially if you experimented with it. Links to all my social medias will be in the description, and as always, you stay frosty, hunters, and get lifted. I'll catch you guys soon.